Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the 2025 OSAA High School Football Officials Training Video, our Clips of the Week. We hope everyone's season is off to a fantastic start. We have a lot of great clips to show you this week, so without further hesitation, let's jump right in. So the first clip we're going to look at here is an interesting play. Now, this is a two-point conversion, and we're going to notice some contact against the passer. So again, this is an interesting play because the contact is not late. It's timed pretty well with the release of the pass. However, we do have a defenseless player here in that the passer is in the act of passing the ball. So by definition, this is a defenseless player. And we're going to get a high, hard hit to the head and neck area. Now, unfortunately, we do not get a flag here by either the referee, who is primary for the passer, or by our umpire. However, we would support a personal foul call here for this hit to the head and neck area. Had this player simply driven through the chest of the passer, we likely would not have a foul. Now, the two-point try was successful, so once the penalty is accepted, this would be enforced on the subsequent free kick. So if you watched an episode a couple of weeks ago, we had a play that was interesting because it's something we normally don't see on the field, but we read about in test questions. Well, I have another one of those, and we're going to go ahead and let this play with the sound on, and then we're going to take a look at a few different aspects of this play. So I'm going to go ahead and play this with sound. So let's unpack that a little bit. So we have a punt play that lands right around the 50-yard line. And then it's going to bound back some nearly 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And then we're going to get an immediate whistle. Now, this is technically an inadvertent whistle, an IW. As a reminder, if the ball bounds back behind the line of scrimmage, it is still a live ball. The kicking team can pretty much do whatever they want. They could run the ball, they could pass the ball, they could even kick the ball again. So we have an inadvertent whistle on this play because this is still technically a live ball. But as Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend. What we're going to notice is that we're going to have a flag right around midfield for an illegal block in the back, around the return team's 45-yard line. So now we're going to have a play in which we have an inadvertent whistle, but we also have a foul by the return team. And this was a good call for an illegal block in the back. So the end of the kick is around the 31-yard line of the kicking team, but we have the block at the returner's 45-yard line. And it appears that the return team never touched the football during the play. So we would enforce this penalty, which is going to supersede the inadvertent whistle. And if the penalty is accepted, we're going to enforce that from the spot of the foul since it's behind the end of the kick. So we would go from the roughly return team's 45 back to the 35-yard line. Now, with that said, the kicking team could decline the penalty and replay the down under the inadvertent whistle rule. But obviously, with what sounds perhaps like a windy night, they probably would just go ahead and accept the penalty. And that's actually what the crew does. The crew does offer options to the kicking team, and they chose to accept the penalty from the spot of the foul. And we're going to have 1st and 10 from the return team's 35. So great job by this crew, despite the inadvertent whistle. So this next play involves some just really good officiating. And we're going to get an interception on this play. And first off, we're going to get an excellent no call for defensive pass interference as the player's feet just simply get tangled. Now, if we pause here, we know that during change of possession, this is a time in which we oftentimes see blindside blocks or other illegal blocks. And we're going to get an excellent job here, both by our line judge and our umpire, for an illegal block in the back near midfield. And we're going to notice here that the umpire throws their hat. And that's because we're going to notice that there's a flag down at the 35. And this was for holding by the kicking team. And what's really impressive is not only the fact that the flag and the hat are about a foot away from each other, is that they continue to officiate the play. So just really an overall excellent job here by the crew so far. Now, if we talk about penalty enforcement, we've got a foul by each team here. And our instinct might be that we want to offset these. However, the defense can decline the penalty for holding by the offense and then choose to have, obviously, the offense accepting the penalty for the block in the back, but that allows the defense to keep the ball. So again, we have a foul by each team, but the defense can decline the penalty by the offense for offensive holding. Of course, the offensive team would then enforce the block in the back, but the defense would then have the ball 1st and 10. And the crew gets this right. So just a really good job by this crew, not only with their mechanics, but also with the penalty enforcement, slowing down and making sure they talk through this. And of course, the defense wants to keep the ball. Just a great job all around. So this is an interesting play, and we're going to get a kickoff that goes towards the head linesman's side and appears to go out of bounds inside the 10. And we're going to get a flag here by the referee. And this is for a kickoff out of bounds. But let's go back and watch what the return player does here. And we normally say, let's not try to judge intent. But it looks like we have the return player intentionally going out of bounds and then reaching across the sideline and picking up the ball. This should be a foul for illegal participation. We have a player who goes intentionally out of bounds and then reaches across to secure the football in bounds. So we want to be careful here as the head linesman because we're way too close to the action. We want to stay behind this, and perhaps we have help then. So again, the crew enforced this as a kickoff out of bounds, but because it does look like the returner intentionally goes out of bounds, reaches across, and touches the ball, this is actually a foul for illegal participation, and this is under Rule 962B. So we're actually working on a special one-off episode for numbering exceptions, but this is a swinging gate formation, and we see this more and more commonly now on point after tries. And we want to look here and notice that we have 5 players on the field, numbered 50 through 79, but we only have 4 players on the line of scrimmage, numbered 50 through 79. And as this play develops here, the film runs, we're going to notice that the team on offense is not in a scrimmage kick formation. So we do not have a player 7 yards back in position to be a holder for a try, nor are they 10 yards back in position to receive a snap. So this is not a scrimmage kick formation, which means we need 5 players 50 through 79 on the line of scrimmage, not just simply on the field. And so what we're going to notice here is that the play goes off and we do not get a flag. Now, I will give kudos to the crew here that while they didn't throw a flag this time and the try was unsuccessful, the team on offense did run this similar formation later in the game, and they got it right after talking about it. Now, one last note on this. This is a 2-point conversion, so we want to make sure that as a wing, we are moving immediately to the pylon at the snap. Unfortunately, our head linesman here doesn't do that. We're not sure about the line judge. Looks like they probably didn't move as well. So again, just a reminder that if a team is not in scrimmage kick formation, they must have 5 players 50 through 79 on the line of scrimmage. So last week we showed a clip about no cheap turnovers. Well, another adage is no cheap touchdowns. And on this play, we want to look at the end of the play after a long completion. And we're going to notice excellent hustle by the back judge. They're staying well in advance of the play. But then we're going to get what could be either a lateral or a forward pass. Now, this does, with the benefit of replay, look like this was clearly a forward pass, which would be an illegal forward pass. Now, the back judge, again, is doing their best to stay in front of the play, trying to get to the goal line ahead of the receiver, and they do an excellent job with that. But, again, with the benefit of replay, this does appear to be clearly a forward pass, and we would have an illegal forward pass enforced there from the spot of that. Now, if we had 7 officials and we had a deep wing there to help us, it very well could be that they would be able to pick up on this. So again, excellent hustle here by the back judge, but unfortunately they do let the play go for a touchdown, and we should have an illegal forward pass on this play. Now this play is more about mechanics than anything rules related, but we can see here we have 3rd and long. And sometimes we need cross-field mechanics. So this is a pass towards the head linesman side. And so they're going to definitely be trailing this play. They're going to have action in front of them. Our line judge, everything's going away from them. And so we could get them to help here with this spot. And we're going to notice here the pass is clearly caught beyond the 50-yard line, around the 48 of the defense. And then they're going to get driven back. But let's watch our line judge here. We're not really seeing any sense of urgency. And what we'd like to do is have that line judge be the one that is running forward to help with the spot of this and help our head linesman out. So as you can see here again, our line judge is just not showing any sense of urgency, and they should be sprinting forward to get the spot here at the 48. But we can also get some help from our back judge. We just want to take a look here at the end zone view at our back judge, who is backpedaling, and by the time that they stop, it appears they're all the way down to the 25-yard line, which is entirely too deep. So when we look at the next play, we're going to notice that the ball is spotted at the 49. So again, this is more of a mechanics thing, but you'll notice here it's 4th and 1. So the team does end up getting a first down here, but we should have had a first down. So again, if you're the off wing, make sure that you're using cross-field mechanics to help your wing partner out on plays across the field. So the last 3 clips we're going to look at here are from a series of plays at the end of a game from a couple of weeks ago. And as we set this up, let's look at the game situation. So we have 1:02 left in the 4th quarter. The team on offense is ahead 21-7. And the team on defense has 1 timeout left. So the team on offense has declared that they are going to take a knee. And we know that if they take a knee here and the clock runs and we get under 40 seconds on the game clock, they can take another knee and the game would be over. And again, the offense here has declared that they are going to take a knee. And for coaches out there, when a team has declared verbally they are going to take a knee, we as officials will not allow the offensive team to run a play. Now, we would encourage the offensive team, and we're going to see what the quarterback does here correctly, is when you declare that you're going to take a knee, for the quarterback to simply go down to a knee immediately. Don't dance around. Go to the ground immediately. And we're going to notice that here. And our officials are in position. We can see that everyone is sort of crouched up because we will verbally tell the defense that the offensive team has taken a knee and we don't need any hard contact by the defensive line. And the first play here goes just fine. Quarterback takes a knee. As we watch the game clock run down, we're going to notice that the team on defense ultimately takes their last timeout. Now, again, this is a 2-score game. This is their last timeout. So as officials, our antenna might want to go up here a little bit. So now we have the next snap. And again, we're going to know that the offense has verbally declared they're going to take a knee. And now we have the officiating crew crouched in even a little bit more. Now we don't see the line judge here. And we would encourage the line judge on a situation like this to come perhaps all the way to the hash marks. Again, we're not going to let the offense run a play here. So there's no need to be back on the sideline. If for some reason the quarterback took the snap and started to run, we're just going to blow this dead because they have verbally declared they're going to take a knee. We're not letting them run a play. But we want to watch what happens here by the defensive line. They're going to rush through the offensive line who's not expecting this, and they're going to take down the quarterback. And we do see an excellent job here by our line judge come sprinting in to help clean this up. And we're going to have flags by multiple referees here for personal fouls against the defense. So now the penalty's been enforced. It's 1st and 10. We'll notice there's 52.5 seconds, and we wind the clock. So we know that we have to get one more snap off. And again, now the officials have really come towards the line. We're again having the offense verbally declare they're taking a knee. The crew does tell the defense not to do anything. Again, we'd like our line judge to be closer, and yet it happens again. So now this is the second instance of this, and we have the visiting team head coach getting his players off, which is excellent. But this is the second instance of this. So again, we just really want to iterate a couple of things here. First, if the team on offense verbally declares they're going to take a knee, we're not going to let them run a play. The officials are going to come in, they're going to pinch in, they're going to get close. They're going to tell the defensive line not to charge. We just simply need a clean snap and for the quarterback to go down. And because this has gone on now twice in a row, this could actually rise to the level of a flagrant personal foul, in which case that player could be ejected for the contact that they have against the lineman or the quarterback. So we hope that this series of play is a lesson for both officials, players, and coaches in end of half or game situations, that when a team on offense has declared they're going to take a knee, once the snap is clean, we're going to blow this dead, and we don't want any action like this. Well, that is it for this week's Clips of the Weeks. We appreciate everyone in sending clips in for review. Last week, we had an excellent response by coaches sending in clips and game film proactively. That slipped a bit this last week, so again, we'd encourage coaches to proactively send in film immediately after your game when your film is available. This allows officials to review game film over the weekend and in preparation for their upcoming games. We thank you for your support and help in getting film for all of our games as much as possible. We hope everyone has a great game this week, and we'll talk to you next week.